welcome back to my channel. Becky Duff here with another Mommy Reads book tag. We very unexpectedly traveled south to Edmonton to visit some family. So I'm spending the week here with family and wanted to just do a quick book tag. I've been reading Becoming by Michelle Obama and A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. So I want to do videos about that and just my thoughts and stuff on them. I just haven't had the chance to sit down and put my thoughts out there in a video. I've been getting kind of stressed out with reading, just trying to finish these books on time. I got White Rage in the mail that I want to read. Since last year, I planned on reading Summer Sisters by Judy Blume starting on the first day of summer, which here is June 20th and today's the 17th. So I'm trying to finish Becoming and then the Hunger Games book before the 20th. And then I also brought Judy Blume's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, because I haven't read that yet. And it's a really short book. So I wanted to read that before Summer Sisters. And anyways, I'm stressing myself out with all these books to read. And reading is not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be an escape. It's supposed to be a chance to learn whatever your purposes for reading are. But yeah, it's just getting a little bit stressful. So anyway, I just want to do a quick book tag, and then I'll do another video once I finish Becoming and the Hunger Games, and I'll talk about those two books later. I went online and I just googled like booktube book tags, and these ones came up. A book reader problems tag by JENNZAH. So these were just online, like I said, but we'll just get right in and move quickly so that I don't blabber on for too long. So number one, you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? So I am, for the most part, a mood reader. I don't typically have like a set TBR, like this is what I'm reading this month. Even though I did do that for June, it kind of all fell apart with different things going on around the world, plus traveling unexpectedly. Yeah, I'm mostly a mood reader, so sometimes I'll finish a book and then I'll go to my bookshelf where I have like this big list, this like big thing of physical books that I want to read on my TBR. And I'll just ask my husband, like I'll pick a couple books that kind of sound interesting and I'll ask my husband like, which one of these should I read? Or sometimes my kids, stuff like that. Or I'll just read the backs. Since joining BookTube last year, like discovering it, I've seen some people do like read the first chapter of different books that they want to do, like that they're thinking about, and I haven't done that yet. That sounds interesting. It might be a good way to pick a book, but mostly I just kind of go to my shelves and pull out a couple and see what looks interesting and read from there. Or if my friend suggests a book or something, I might go with that instead. Number two, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you put it down or are you committed? So in the past, I've been committed to the books and I'll put it down and I'll come back to it and put it down and come back to it. And it'll take me a long time, which is even worse because then you're dragging out this book you don't want to read. I'm getting better at DNFing a book if it's really, really bad, or I just know, like I got a book as a gift through Reddit exchange, and it was some Egyptian queen, I can't remember, not Cleopatra. So it's more of a nonfiction book, but I think they try to put like story elements in it. But it just was not my kind of book. I don't read history books typically, and this was more of a history. I don't mind historical fiction. I don't read it a lot, but I don't mind it. I've read like all the Outlander books and stuff like that. I've read The Nightingale and some of the bigger ones. But I do read some historical fiction, but I like when it comes to history books and stuff like that, like it just bores me to death. I even picked up one on, I think it was feminism. And it was about like laws. I can't remember if it was about feminism or race. That's how far I got into the book. But it was just about like implementing different laws and stuff like that. And those are important things to learn about and to know about and what the laws are. But I prefer to like be able to do like a quick Google search and look up, like not read an entire book about it, or better just to talk to somebody who knows what it is. So like my one friend is more into politics, or he'll know like they're trying to pass this bill or that bill. And I'm like, okay, wait, what? Explain this to me. I'm better at that than trying to just read it. I am so bored and I get nowhere with it. So those books I'm learning, just put them down. Don't even try. I'm not understanding it. I'm just wasting time trying to read the book. When it comes to like fiction books and like a story that's not a nonfiction, I prefer to try and be committed to it, but I am learning to start DNFing books. There's too many good books out there. There's too many books to read for me to waste time on a book that just doesn't hold my attention. One of those books, like, everyone loves that book, The Goldfinch, and me and my friend were trying to find a book to read last year, and we looked up books that were going to become movies. So we're like, oh, maybe we can read the book and then watch the movie together. And The Goldfinch, both of us were like, what's happening? Like, just reading and reading and reading. We're like, okay, nothing's happening. What's going on? It started out exciting and now nothing and nothing and nothing. And at the end, there was like some excitement. And I liked the side characters of that book way more than I actually liked the main character. But it just slogged on for me and it was too long. And I'm like, this big, thick book probably could have been like this big and it would have been good. But then I see other people on BookTube where they're like, The Goldfinch was amazing. It was so good. And it just wasn't my kind of book. So that's a book I should have DNF'd, honestly. And maybe just gone and seen the movie. And I haven't watched the movie, so I don't know if it's any good or not compared to the book. But in the past, I could not finish a book, but I'm getting better at that. Number 3, the end of the year is coming and you're behind on your reading challenge. Do you try to catch up? And if so, how? In the past, I've had the goal of reading 52 books in a year, and I think I made it to like 48. I've never had, like, in January, I'm going to finish these books. In February, I'm going to finish these books. In March, I'm going to finish these books. I just read, and if I start a book like February 28th and read it until like March 5th or 10th or 20th, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if my books roll over between the months, except for December and January. When it comes to the end of the year, I want to finish, like, these are my 2019 books, done. They're not going into the new year with me. These are my 2020 books. They're not going into the new year with me, kind of thing. At the end of the year, I think I just try to pick shorter books or finish books that maybe I did put down that I wasn't interested in or something. But this year I am on Goodreads. I think I picked 60 books as my book goal because I don't want to overwhelm myself with too many books. Like, people pick like 100 books. I'm like, no, that's too much for me. So I don't want to feel like I have to read 100 books to be part of this community, because I don't have to. I read what I read, but I did put it at 60, so a little bit higher than like the 50, 52 mark, but not near 100. Do you try to catch up? So it depends. Like, say my goal is 60 books and I'm at 50, I'm not going to read 10 books in the last month of the year. And I'm not just going to read like a bunch of manga or something I'm not interested in to try and count it towards my goal. So I'd probably just leave it and try better next year or lower my goal or something. But if I was at like 58 books out of 60, then I'd probably try to complete it and pick smaller books. Again, I don't read a lot of manga or graphic novels and stuff, so I might not grab one of those just because it'll be a quick, easy read unless it is something I'm really interested in. But I'd pick shorter novels anyways. 4, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? Not very well. I had one of my Darkwing, like the Silvering Sunwing books by Kenneth Opel. I had one, which was the last book he wrote, but like everybody, it's a prequel to the other ones. So I had that one, and it's all paperback, but it's a little bit bigger. And then I bought the other 3. I bought 2 off of Book Outlet, and then I bought 1 from Chapters because they didn't have that one at Book Outlet. And they're all like smaller, like shorter books, and they all match. And then this one doesn't match, and it drives me crazy. And I could buy the Darkwing one from Indigo or Chapters, but right now I'm not going to, just to save myself money. But for now, I'm gonna leave it. But I would like to have them all match, preferably. And maybe those would be ones I'd put like on my birthday, Christmas list for other people if they wanted to buy them for me. Number 5, everyone and their mother loves a book that you do not. Who do you bond with over your shared feelings? I'd probably just talk to my husband and rant to him about it, even though he most likely wouldn't have read the book, but I would just be like, this is why I don't like it. Everyone likes it for this. But it's not really bonding because we both haven't read the book and share our same feelings, but I would rant to him about it anyways. I don't know who else I would talk to, like my one friend that we share, like we read books together. Like I said, we read The Goldfinch and stuff. Chances are we would probably agree. We tend to like or dislike the same books. Maybe find somebody on book Twitter or Instagram or something who doesn't like it. Number 6, you're reading a book in public and you're about to start crying. How do you deal? Put the book down and like do a little breather and try not to cry. But I don't know, I think if you're at a part that's going to make you cry, you're kind of invested and you want to keep reading, you don't want to stop. I think just like taking that minute to breathe and like, okay, try and keep reading without crying. But I mean, I don't know, go to the bathroom, blow your nose, calm yourself back down again. Number 7, the sequel to a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot of what happened. Are you going to reread it? Sometimes I do, or I might listen. Now I've gotten more into audiobooks in the past year more than in the past, so I might listen as instead of taking the time to physically reread a book, I might listen to it. I just did that with The Hunger Games, even though I didn't need to. It's not, the book that just came out is not a sequel to the books, and I could have watched the movies, which I did, but I could have watched the movies just to get like caught up on it and like get a refresher of it. But I chose to reread them because it's been like 8 years since I read them. So for me, it was worth doing the full reread. I'd probably listen to it, or maybe even just look up like a synopsis or look at people's videos on YouTube who have read it and share their like reviews and stuff. Maybe look for one with spoilers since I've already read it. Number 8, you do not want anyone to borrow your books. How do you politely say no when someone asks? That'd be really hard for me because I feel like I'm so polite that way, and I would be like, I don't know. I do lend out my books typically to people. I understand all the reasons for not lending them out. You don't get them back. They come back broken or dirty or whatever, ripped, damaged in some way. But I do tend to lend out my books. So if I did not want to lend it out, I don't know what I would do. It would be hard for me just to say like, no, you can't have it. Offer to buy them their own. Number 9, you have picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over this reading slump? So I find sometimes, like if I've just read too much and I'm in a bit of a reading slump, I just need a reading break, then I will go and like catch up on a Netflix series or some other series I'm watching, or I'll listen to more podcasts, not even an audiobook, but a podcast. So something with episodes that's faster to get through than an audiobook. Even flipping through something like a magazine or whatever, or catching up on articles online I want to read or something like that, and just kind of taking a break from the typical novels and stuff like that. Just having, that little bit of a break before jumping back into like a full-on novel, fiction or nonfiction, or even going to nonfiction of a story of somebody or something that's really interesting to me. Number 10, there are so many books coming out that you are dying to read. How many do you end up buying? Well, all of them. It depends. Something like The Hunger Games, I just recently rebought I never owned them. I had them on my Kobo as an ebook. So I physically bought 3 copies, the trilogy, because I found it for cheap on Facebook Marketplace. So when the new one was coming out, I was like, I'm buying that. But there's other books that either I can wait a little while, it's an author I like, but I don't necessarily need to buy the book right now. So I'll wait for it to become on paperback or something a little bit cheaper, or some books that just have kind of caught my interest, but they're a new author and I'm not really interested in buying the book, or I'm not sure if I've invested in buying from this author or this book yet. I might just go to the library and get it out that way, or as an ebook or an audiobook or a physical book, but from the library. And number 11, after you purchase all these books that you're dying to read, how long do you sit on your shelves before you get to them? I could read them right away. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I read pretty quickly because I was anticipating it coming out, and I had reread The Hunger Games, and the book came out, I think, May 19th, and I didn't get it in the mail until June 1st, despite the fact that I ordered it back in February when I saw that it was available for pre-order. So I'm reading that now. So I had it a couple days, and then I cracked it open. Other books, it could be years before I get to them. I don't know. I don't know what it is about reading and book people, but yeah, we buy these books that we're super interested in and then we just put them to the side. Anyways, that's all the questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with another book tag probably, and my thoughts on Becoming and the new Hunger Games. Bye!